Hi, I'm Eliana Melendez, and I'm with Film Posers.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, I'm just going to jump right into it.
Great.
Um, how did luck come to be, and what did your preparation for the film look like?
Oh my gosh. So luck came to be. There was I was at Skydance Animation and I was developing a television series when they asked me to consider directing Luck. So there were two things that were part of that project. One was the lead character was growing up in foster care, and the other was this little leprechaun. So when I saw those two elements, I thought, oh my goodness, I come from a big family. Family is so important to me. I was super drawn to the idea that I could create a story where someone that doesn't have a family ultimately gets her forever family. I was really thinking, oh, that is a great opportunity to celebrate sort of family and also celebrate your family can look many different ways, right? I thought that could be really cool. And then taking this idea of a leprechaun, I go, oh my gosh, what if we create a whole magical world of luck that no one ever knew existed? And that was like, yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
And speaking of that whole magical world of luck, I think that's like one of my favorite parts of the movie is how rich like the building is and the lore and all the fantasy that comes with it. How did you go about navigating that?
Yeah, it was super easy. No, I'm kidding. It was so easy. Yeah, we did a ton of research, right? And you sort of research, research lucky icons all around the world, right? You start to utilize those, and then you kind of think about like, okay, so if you're a good luck creature and you never have bad luck, then guess what? You don't need handrails. You don't need safety guards on anything. So all of a sudden, the world becomes this like open kaleidoscope where you can move through it with no problems unless you're Sam, who's super unlucky, right? So
Right.
tension of that, it just created great tension. So it really just comes down to like, what does the story need? And you just start to build the world around what the story needs. And then you have an amazing production designer, Fred Warder, right? He and his team were so incredible. And Fred is very good at sort of doing a mashup, visual mashup is what I call it, where he sort of took kind of the industrial look of steampunk, the mid-century modern, and then he took this other thing. It's this mathematical construct called Verneuil, and it's like these
Right.
organic cell looking things. And he put all that together in one world in a way that it feels like something you've never seen before. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely like I saw it and I was like, wait, I it's it's a similar story, it's something familiar, but it is something presented in a way that is still unique and creative that really just kind of draws you into almost even the technical details of it. So
Yeah,
that I
that's
can
awesome. That's
definitely
awesome.
see that. And speaking of your team and your crew, you also work with such a lovely cast. What's it like to create something as special and near and dear as Luck with such a talented cast of actors?
Yeah, I have to say, it's like people often ask me, like, what's the luckiest thing that happened to you making this movie Luck? And I have to say, like, the cast, it's one of the luckiest things, right? So we have these amazing actors, and I think everybody could get behind the story. It's a very positive, uplifting story. And I think all the actors were really drawn to this idea, like I was talking about, of a forever family. And they were also drawn to a very specific idea in the movie, which is at some point when you look back on your life and you see what you thought was the worst bad luck ever for you turned out to be like the best good luck ever because it led you to something else, right? And so the whole cast was able to get behind that idea. And so it just feels great. At the time, when you're making the movie, you're just from your own gut, myself and Keel Murray, we're just sort of making the story that we want to tell and the story that moves us in the hopes that other people will feel the same. So that's really what drives us on a daily basis is like, what do we want Sam to go through? How do we get this emotion out? And then with the comedy, it's like, who doesn't want to laugh? Physical comedy. I was a dancer and a choreographer. So for me, physical
Mhm.
comedy is just like a dream come true to be able to do physical comedy.
It is really interesting to see how physical comedy is like portrayed in animation because the only difference here is just the medium, right? What's it's not your first animated film, obviously, but as a choreographer, what was that process when you, as a director, envisioning what these characters were going through physically, and going through those bits throughout the story? How was it like trying to translate that to animators?
Yeah, yeah, it's super cool. Well, one thing we all did is, again, we love to do research, right? So we sat and we re-looked at my favorites: Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, Mary Tyler Moore, Donald O'Connor, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, right? We rewatched their films over and over and over. And the things we were super drawn to is, especially with Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett, they were constantly in very pedestrian like situations. And so we were like, oh, that's what we do with Sam. We literally put her in her apartment, put her in her place of work, and then you take the story team, 12 people, and you just go, go. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a dresser, you have a Murphy bed, you have a bathroom, you have a broom, you have socks. And so they were just phenomenal. Like, they were just so, so clever. And then the ones that don't work, you got to throw them out. So it was super
Right.
easy. It was super easy to kind of sit and see, like, if you got a room of 20 people, the ones that everyone laughs at are pretty much, you figure, okay, those are the winners. Those are the winners. But it's super lucky. And we wanted it to be relatable, right? We wanted her to
Right.
do things that we maybe have done in our own lives.
Yeah, it really keeps her grounded in a sense as a character. So that helps
Sure.
also with the juxtaposition with such a presenting her all of a sudden in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been absolutely lovely. I don't want to take up any more of your time, so I am going to close with one last question. Is there a character you yourself found yourself relating to the most?
I want to say I do relate to Sam in a very specific way. So Sam, is going after this good luck for her little sister, not her sister, but her friend Hazel, who's only 5. I have a sister that's 17 years younger than me. So I think that connection between those two characters just reminds me so much of my sister Julie, who I adore and would do anything for. And sort of the love and connection between the two of us is the same love and connection that I wanted Sam and Hazel to have.
Love that. And again, thank you so much. It's honestly such a beautiful story. And I hope that everyone gets to see it when it comes out.
Thank you so much. That's so meaningful. It really means a lot to hear that. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you for your time.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.